has 17 keys, but there's also one that I believe has 27, and then there's a smaller one that I think has around 6 keys, but I have not checked. I just know that there's a smaller one with like thicker tiles. That's not the right word, but it's easier to grip your thumb with. So the way that this kalimba works, and matter of fact, all kalimbas is just by pressing one of the keys. So for instance, that was D. If you actually get one, you might also be given stickers to be able to put this on your kalimba, so I recommend it if you want. I am a beginner though, so I'm not gonna actually play any music for you all because I'm still learning a few songs, but also the interesting part is your hands. So from what I've heard from watching other YouTube videos, it can be really good to have a bit of nail to actually hit the tiles. However, I think it's important to note that there could be a bit of resistance when hitting the tiles. So for instance, if you have to do E more than once, the metal will hit your nail and make, I wouldn't say the most pleasant sound, whereas I've seen people use the kalimba without much nail, and it works perfectly fine. So keep that in mind, that maybe having thicker nails or longer nails like I do doesn't really help. So that's something that I definitely took away. But I will just play you a few of these notes to show you like what it sounds like. And this sound may be very familiar to some people because I've seen a lot of covers with the kalimba, but I believe there are some soundtracks from games that actually use the kalimba as inspiration. So for instance, this is a C. This is D. This is F. This is A. This is C again, but hopefully I'm not saying this wrong, but this one is a different note of C. And this is E. And here we have G. B. And lastly, D. So it's important to note how to actually, how to actually do this kalimba. So from what I know right now is that I tuned half of this, so just around G right here, so everything on this side isn't really the most tuned. But I do love doing this. I think it's very satisfying just hearing this. Or this. It is very satisfying to hear, in my opinion. Like imagine getting lost in thought and just hearing. If you noticed, but this last key, which if you can see from the corner, it may not show on the screen, but this is D. this hammer. And I believe, well, actually, if I remember correctly, you can tap it two ways. You can tap it from the bottom end of the tile. So if you tap it this way, then it actually makes the note higher. But if you tap it from the top, then it makes the note lower. But yeah, this is the hammer. It's not necessarily the best form of tuning, or, well, I wouldn't say that. It's I believe, the only form of tuning for a kalimba. But I've heard that people can choose not to own a kalimba because of this tuning device, because it can be a bit hard. As you just heard, I tapped it lightly, but sometimes you have to put a bit more force when tapping on the keys. And naturally, you don't want to break this, and I don't think if you tap it harder that it actually breaks it, but I know there are some people out there who choose not to have a kalimba because of how you have to tune the kalimba, so keep that in mind if you ever want to buy one. Now, I do want to end off by, actually, how do I want to end this off by? This was a very short video to make, to be honest. I didn't really have anything in mind. I just wanted to show this kalimba. I think in another video, I want to learn how to play, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. So, I want to show how to play that. But it is very interesting to see the way that lyrics are written are based, if I remember, on the numbers. So if you can see the numbers from my screen, you can see a bit of numbers right over here. I don't believe they're from the letters, or actually there could be other ways of doing, or like making the lyrics up. I think the kalimba that I got is a bit smaller on the way that the tiles are distributed. Again, I'm just assuming this because I've seen other people use the kalimba, and these go to the very end of the wooden board, but I am not too sure, so please let me know if I'm wrong. This is just some of my observations that I've made from being, I would say, a novice at playing the kalimba, but at some point I do want to be able to play my favorite songs, covers, or maybe OSTs from games. I know, I think there's a lot of Legend of Zelda songs that you can play on this, so I might want to consider that, but overall you can do a lot with the kalimba. You can probably even make your own music, anything like that. It's a very whimsical sort of instrument, in my opinion. Now, I hope you all enjoyed this video. I was just goofing off with the kalimba. I don't really have any songs in mind to play, but I don't know if you can hear, or if you've heard rather, past tense, but there were even a few mistakes that I made, and I believe my nails are too long to play, so sometimes there's a bit of a backdrop, not a backdrop, but rather noise resistance, I guess. Like when one of the tiles is already vibrating, if it hits my nail, it makes not exactly the best sound. And you could even hear a bit of the noise resistance here. Slightly. Not that much, actually. But I hope you all enjoyed this video. It was just a fast video I wanted to make just to show off this kalimba. And in future videos, I definitely want to make more videos with the kalimba, or maybe just one full ASMR video that's just me playing the kalimba, or a cover song. I think that'd be really exciting and just fun. I really want to learn tons of songs, but also let me know if you have any songs you want to recommend me to learn. I really only have just cover songs from game OSTs that I want to learn how to play, but let me know if you have any other songs that are interesting that I could learn. But yeah, thank you all for watching this video. I hope you all have a good morning, a good night, or that you have to do.